Hello again, everybody, and welcome to podcast 5.5 from Illegal Pancakes. Now, this time we're going to start with something quick on Nintendo, who we rarely talk about, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yep. So, this past week, they have come out and said that they are against any sort of censorship in gaming, pretty much, like TLDR. And they are saying that it's best for third-party ratings boards and parental controls to guide what people are able to play. I just thought it was weird since Nintendo in the past has always seemed to be more strict than other console creators, developers, or whatnot.
Yeah, Nintendo has always kind of been like focused around being like the family console. And like when we were kids and stuff, usually if you got a game on like the Game Boy or on the Wii or something like that, it would usually either have like a lot of censorship and stuff in it. Like didn't the House of the Dead remakes on the Wii, they got rid of all the blood and stuff like that?
No, but the default option was to use like green blood. It was still rated M, and you can still
Mm-hmm.
turn it to red blood.
But what's it like the Doom games on the Game Boy, they all have green blood.
Yeah.
Uh I think the most famous one is Wolfenstein 3D on the Super Nintendo. That they got rid of all the swastikas and stuff in like a really like crappy way as well.
They turned all the blood into sweat, and they replaced the dogs with rats.
Mm-hmm. So, and then of course you had Noah's Ark 3D, which was spawned because of that.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm. But it's just interesting to see that Nintendo's kind of like changing their perspective, and I think it's because they realize that like their main fan base at this point are like all the like 30-year-old dudes and stuff that are still playing Pokemon and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, it was more or less for third party software, I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
that gets released on their consoles. Because, I mean, they still can tell, like, someone, no, we don't want to have this on here. Because, I mean, they've done that in the past for AO rated games, of course.
Yeah, which
Probably are still going to do that for AO rated games.
well, honestly, like the most AO rated games, like beyond the fact that they have bad content in them, you just don't want them because those games usually suck. You there?
Yeah, I'm there. You cut out for a bit.
Okay, yeah.
So, what were you saying about AO rated games?
Oh, I was saying that most AO games aren't just bad because they have adult content, but they also suck at being games.
Yeah.
So like,
I don't know. I just thought it was worth mentioning since.
yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I'm curious of like what that's gonna mean in the future. I mean, I guess what it means is we're gonna get to see a lot more mature games on Nintendo consoles, which is just different, just because in the past, Nintendo usually had these bright, colorful kiddie games, and you had Xbox and PlayStation with your Halos and your Call of Duties and your like Crisis and all that stuff, Gears of War.
Yeah. And it's funny because apparently Sony has been cracking down a lot more on what gets put on like their games on their console and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any examples, but at the moment, but like that's just really funny because it was the other
Yeah.
way around, like going into like the early 2000s,
Yeah.
like when the PlayStation came out. Well, I mean that was the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when the PlayStation came out, it was like you were seeing a lot more grittier and hard edge games on
Yeah.
that, like Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, compared to like Zelda and the Mario games that were still really really popular on
Mm-hmm.
N64.
And what's also interesting is how like I think it's Resident Evil 4 is the one that's really popular on GameCube that everyone discusses how that's like the best GameCube game.
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
Yeah, and that was like
Weird.
the only like M-rated game on the GameCube, I feel like.
Oh no, remember they had the Resident Evil remake on there too.
Hmm. That wasn't as popular though.
Yeah. Are you saying, oh, it was the only M-rated game on the GameCube? It's like, no, it wasn't.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't, but it was the most well-known one.
Yeah, just hyperbole, I guess.
Yeah, as a kid, I thought it was the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know it was on GameCube first. I always saw it on like PlayStation 2 or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I just remember my cousin came and like lived with us for like a summer, and he brought his GameCube, and I was going through his games. It was like, oh, Sonic Adventure, Luigi's Mansion, Monkey Pinball, I'm like Resident Evil. What on earth is this? Rated M. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I think on the topic of gaming and games you can buy, the Steam Summer Sale's been going on. If you haven't known yet, I haven't really bought any games yet.
Same.
There's been a couple that I've been looking at.
Same.
It ends on the 9th. I'm trying to think what are some of the best deals they've had. One of the best deals I think I've seen is that one of the Civilization games, it's like, I think they have like 150% off it with all the expansions. So it's like you're saving like over $100 worth of like DLC and stuff, and the game's only like $40. That just surprised me. I was like, wow, didn't realize there was that much to that game.
Which do you remember which one it is? Is it the most recent one?
I don't think so, because this had a lot of DLC, and I doubt that the most recent one has had this much. But maybe. I don't follow the Civilization games.
Yeah.
I
don't remember.
know that a lot of people like them.
Yeah. I don't know what publisher does them either, so I don't. A lot of DLC might not be surprising.
Suppose
if it was
true.
if it was like EA or someone like that. I don't think it's EA though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, the usuals, like all the Valve games, are like $1 or less.
Yep. You can get all of them for like $6. I want to say. Last I checked. I'm thinking about getting that. And pretty much everything Bethesda, I want to say, is very cheap. I mean, I haven't been looking at it because pretty much any Bethesda game that I would want, I already own. It's like there's no need to look at the old Doom games or Quake games because I already have them, even though I'm pretty sure they're all...
I think it was weird because last summer, I bought like a ton of games. I think that was probably because it was the first summer sale. I had my new PC, and I bought a lot of games that summer. And then this summer, I've kind of taken it easy. I'm thinking about getting the Wolfenstein games, the old ones at least.
Yeah, they have a pack that comes with the original Wolfenstein 3D, and Spear of Destiny, and then Return to Castle Wolfenstein. That's a pretty decent deal.
Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege is only $10 this week. They got some kind of new cowboy game mode you can play. I might buy that. Yeah.
Yep. I'm thinking about getting that Valve pack, like I was saying, but nothing else really jumped out at me because, like I said, I
already own a ton of games and I haven't beaten them yet.
Yep, I got a lot on the backlog. I'm still trying to beat Bloodstained. Yeah, I don't know. There were a couple fighting games I was thinking about getting that they are on sale. They're just not as cheap as I would like them to be.
Yeah. It always bugs me on the summer sale, like when like so much is on sale and you see like one game that isn't on sale, or like one game that's only like 5% off, and you're like, come on.
Yeah.
That's barely even a sale.
Or it's like something that's like, holy crap, it's 50% off, but it's still like $15. Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now with a couple games. Under Night in Birth, I think, the original one. I've been really wanting to get that, but I don't want to pay more than $10 for it at the moment. Probably go on sale cheaper around Christmas or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, other news, the 4th of July happened, which, I mean, if you're American, that means you probably celebrated. I was actually surprised to see that there was actually a lot of, like, stores and stuff open on the 4th of July. I just did not expect that. But it was good for me because I had to buy a lot of stuff. But, on that, the 3rd season of Stranger Things came out. Connor has not seen Stranger Things.
Nope.
I think, didn't you say you had like the same motivation as Game of Thrones, where
like whenever someone tells me to watch it, I put it off by another like year or so.
Yeah.
And so far I'm up to like probably like 12 years by now with most recent season of Game of Thrones coming out. Yeah, like
I don't
no.
know. I think that with the new season of Game of Thrones, enough people have told me not to watch it.
Yeah, it's one of those where I'm gonna try to read the books first, and if I'm put off by like the writing in those, I'll like not even try with the show. But no, with Stranger Things, it's one of those that I see the appeal to it, but I just haven't tried to like sit down and watch it because I've had
Hmm.
enough of other stuff to watch that catches my attention, or it's hard to like motivate myself to get into it or whatnot. So
Yeah.
like right now, I still gotta watch season 3 of Daredevil, and I've been meaning to do that for since it came out.
Yeah. Well, I've got some good news for you, Connor, because it looks like this is the last season of Stranger Things.
Really?
Yeah. Uh, Now, in the past, the directors, the Duffer brothers, they said they wanted to do 4 seasons and that's it. And the season does end with like an end credit scene. But that being said, there's like almost nowhere for the show to go at this point. So, I mean, they might still make another season. Uh, but if they do, it's not going to be for a long time. And that's probably for best. That means they can work things out and get everything written properly. Uh, I know that season 2 of Stranger Things came out like a year after the first season, and though the second season isn't bad, it's definitely the weakest out of all 3. And season 2 set up a lot of things, and then Stranger Things 3 took all of those and threw them in the dumpster. So if you're
Huh.
wondering where all those subplots they opened up went, they don't go anywhere, and that might be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. I know that most people didn't like the things they were setting up, so you'll have to take that in as you can. But the new season, it's easily the craziest one yet because you've got the Russians invading, and then you've also got John Carpenter's The Thing invading, and then you also got an army of zombies invading that are also John Carpenter's The Thing. So everything you can imagine is all happening at once. None of those are spoilers because they were all in the trailer / the first 2 seconds of the season. All your favorite characters are back. I think the season was a lot of fun. I have a hard time comparing it to the others. There's probably a lot of issues in it that'll bug you. I think the plot was less solid, and there's a lot of little issues of like, I don't know, like characters getting thrown through walls or people sneaking through hallways where they obviously would be caught but they didn't, and stuff like that. Again, I'm not sure how that compares to the other seasons because it's been years since I've seen them, but that stuff didn't really bother me because I felt like the strengths were, just how crazy and whack this is, and the budget is way up in this season as well. Like they have a lot more. A big part of the show takes place in a shopping mall, which is also really cool because, I mean, one, it's a Day of the Dead reference, but it's also it's all like decked out so it looks like an 80s shopping mall, and apparently it's a real mall you can go to. So that's pretty fun. They also fight a giant monster inside of it, and all those kids probably should have died right away, but that's not how TV works.
Hmm.
But I think one of the things that surprised me the most is that because Stranger Things is always just a hodgepodge of 80s and 90s movies and stuff, one of the ones that they take is The Terminator, and they have some Russian dude that looks just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's just hunting the characters the whole time. Where this guy came from, I don't know. I mean, I looked it up. He's from Ukraine, but you're watching and you're like, oh my gosh, it's young Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I think for me, those were kind of the highlights. The show has a lot of jokes, but I don't think I don't know how the show is going to continue. If the show does continue, I feel like it's going to be when the kids are way older. If I just say the show's biggest flaw is probably the way it handles the deaths of the characters. 2 characters die in this show, and in the tradition of Stranger Things, it's not handled very well, I don't think. They just kind of come out of nowhere, and not just like in Game of Thrones where it's like supposed to surprise you and stuff. Look at me, I'm referencing a show I've never seen. They're not out of nowhere as in like a surprise, but it's just that you're just like, wait, is this character gonna die now? Oh, I guess he is. Like, none of the deaths feel really earned, and one of the deaths it looks like they're teasing at it's not even that he died, which I feel is even cheaper. Like, don't do that. So overall, I enjoyed the new season a lot. It's very intense. They also This is also the most mature. This one has the most blood and gore and swearing, which kind of surprised me. Well, I think it's really funny because my little brother, he hasn't seen the other 2 seasons, but he said he was going to watch this one. And then I'm watching it, and like a character gets like jibbed in one scene, and I was like, oh, maybe he shouldn't watch this one. So, I think it was good. Connor, I think that when you get around to watching it, you'll probably enjoy it.
I hope. I'll be very upset, Robbie.
Yeah. I know that I had some friends that have been texting, and they said they haven't been liking it as much, but I think it's fine. And that's probably my review. Probably 4 out of 5. Maybe 5 out of 5, I'm not sure. And that's my thoughts on the new season.
Alrighty. So now what are we segmenting into?
We're segmenting into our famous comment section. And since nobody's really been commenting on our podcast, which, I mean, is fine, we're going to read one of the comments on one of the new videos I released, which was a video about all of the new monsters in Doom Eternal. Now, first off, one thing I feel a little bad about is that there was one monster that I missed, which is like a Cyber Hell Knight, I think. He was on one of the posters. I saw he was there. I just thought that he was... I thought he was supposed to be the Coal Obsidian boss monster. So, that's on me. But this guy here, he commented a couple stuff that I think is pretty interesting. And I like what he says here. He says, you forgot about the shotgun guy, a.k.a. Shotgun Zombie Man. He's referring to... I said that the new one has all of the Doom Eternal... Well, it has all the classic monsters except for the Spectre. And obviously the shotgun guy isn't it. Because I don't think Bethesda wants to do any hit scan enemies. Which, I forget, aren't you a little upset about that, Connor?
Well, I was initially, and then it kind of makes sense since you can't really dodge hit scan since they're going more for the mobility thing. It just seems like straight up cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But he says, to counter that, I've looked at some better pictures of the zombies with the riot shields, and their design is straight up as well, just like the shotgun guys from the classic ones. So in a backwards way, I didn't leave them out, but that's okay. He says the Zombie Man, Shotgun Guy, and Arachnotron look more like the Doom 64 designs rather than the Doom 1 and 2 designs. That's probably fair. I never beat Doom 64. I played through most of it, I think. I don't really remember what the Arachnotrons look like. The Zombie Man, though, he did look a lot like... he does look a lot more like the new one. That being said, the Zombie Man looks a lot like the classic one in Doom 64. He said that the Harvesters, which were from the Doom 2016 multiplayer, may be brought back as well. And then he says, Zombie Security is probably just a possessed security guy from Doom 2016. But maybe not, because there probably won't be any hit scan enemies in Eternal. He said, Green Dog may be one of the canines from Doom RPG. I think that's a cool idea.
Like, no one would expect that.
Yeah, no one would expect that. Doom RPG is such an obscure one. I think the canines from that, weren't they just the ones from Wolfenstein, but colored different colors?
I don't know. I don't know too much about Doom RPG.
Yeah.
Mainly because it was a mobile phone game, like a pre-iOS one, I think.
I think it was turn-based combat as well.
Yeah.
You said the gargoyles may be inspired by the same enemy from Blood.
Oh, I freaking hope not.
Yeah.
Those are a real pain in the ass. I know you haven't played Classic Blood yet, Robbie.
Yeah.
But those are a real pain in the ass.
Do they still throw the bones at you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's more of they're just bullet spongy.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then he said the zombies / the possessed look like fan-made models for Doom Classic. Yes. And that's his whole comment. This is from Asias10, by the way. So, is there anything that you want to talk about with my video? I think that, I don't know. There's a lot of videos out there that are already like that, but I was going to make that video back when the first Quake Con video came out, and I just felt like I needed to get it done.
Yeah. I mean, it gives us something else to do other than just these podcasts.
Yeah.
Which I've been working on that Doom Eternal story one, or like been thinking about working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't know if I'm gonna do it or not, but if I am, it's gonna have to be before this year's QuakeCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a decent vid to make.
Yeah.
I have my own comment I put on there about not using the official names when they're revealed. Like just sticking with Yellow Dude, Wheelhead, and Baldy, and then Triceratops Dog, whatever else he used in there. Is Whiplash an official name?
Yeah, Whiplash is an official name.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people have been commenting on this as well, that Whiplash is the same as Snake Dude.
Yeah.
You can't really see this in the picture I used, but in the picture for Snake Dude, he just has 2 knives instead of a knife and a whip. And the main reason I put him in was that one of the Doom wikis said that there was going to be a snake cyborg enemy, which I assumed it's possible they made the same mistake.
Yeah, either that or the knives are on the end of his whip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like an extendable arm or whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's one of those time will tell type things. We might figure that out by QuakeCon.
I have to wait and see. One person wanted to know if I was making a video about all the weapons. At first I was pretty reluctant to, but the game doesn't come out till November. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will.
Yeah.
It'll be a late video, but why not?
Yeah. I mean, you can probably wait till after QuakeCon for that.
Yeah.
Since they'll probably reveal a bit more. So I don't feel too motivated to do it, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I still got that one to make, which that one might not end up being too long. Because I actually don't have too much to say on Doom Eternal's story that hasn't been said already.
Mm-hmm.
At least been said already by me. Yeah.
All right, cool. You have anything else that we want to talk about?
No.
All right, cool. Well, I think this is this week's podcast. If you have anything that you want us to talk about or anything like that, just leave a comment in the description. We will read it. And if you have a subject or something that you want us to discuss, we will discuss it.
Because we have almost nothing else to talk about usually.
Yeah. Next week might be Spider-Man Far From Home. Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it all depends on me actually seeing the movie.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we will be back next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.